How's it going, everybody? I'm Asch, your D-Class hero.
And I'm Card Dreamer, that other hero.
And we're doing a discussion video, guys, and I think this one is kind of a topic everyone can kind of agree on. For example, how much weight does a game company's name carry by today's standards compared to how it did, say, like, 90s?
Yeah, I would definitely... Well, 80s and 90s.
80s and 90s. So, when we mean weight, like, when you hear that name, what do you usually associate that company with? Like, for example, starting off back in the 80s, 90s, Capcom, I think, is a good example. Back then, when you heard Capcom, you thought Mega Man, Street Fighter, DuckTales, Darkwing Duck, and you thought these games, you thought of a good time. They were great games back then.
They were.
And this is my personal opinion. You guys can disagree with me on this one. I don't think Capcom's doing as well right now aside from Monster Hunter.
They're not, because what they have that's good, they're not utilizing their full potential. For the example, Mega Man is nowhere to be seen
Aside from the collections.
Yeah, they're really half-baked collections compared to what they've done in the past.
Mm-hmm. Give us fucking Mega Man Legends 3. I'm die hard about this, guys. You have no idea. I'm a huge Mega Man Legends fan. But anyway, that's another thing. Like, they cancel certain games that they know they get money off of because they know fans want it.
Yeah, and I mean, this isn't just going to be a Capcom rant, but they're a prime example of their name is like everything they did was gold, to now you're lucky you get a silver with them.
I say bronze, but that's just me. Right now, they almost killed Resident Evil. They recently kind of brought it back from the brink of death with Resident Evil 7.
It's true. They really took a hit on Street Fighter with Street Fighter 5.
Yep. And it's just like... And Marvel vs. Capcom Ultimate, I hear, is not doing so hot.
No, because all the core characters that people like that were at the start of the franchise are absent.
All the X-Men.
Mega Man.
Actually, Mega Man's in there.
No, that's X.
Oh, yeah, it is X. That's kind of a gray area in that one, though. But from what I hear, don't know how true this is, supposedly X-Men are coming in as DLC or expansion. I don't know how I feel about that. I'm not thrilled about it. They should have been there from the start. Now, my question is that Capcom's fault, or is that Marvel?
Mega Man's Capcom, X-Men might be the licensing rights with Marvel.
So that's kind of a catch-22 right there. But, like, this is what we're talking about, though. When you think Capcom as an example, it's literally back in the 80s, 90s, you thought, okay, I'm in for a good time with their games. Now it's like, this one series is good, but they're milking it to death, or they just canceled this, or they're not using this at all. And that's my problem with them personally.
I agree, and you know, another prime example is it may be arguably the best example, better even than Capcom, is Konami.
Yeah.
Because think about when they started. You had Castlevania.
Yep.
You had the Ninja Turtle games. Now, I know the first one on the NES says Ultra, but I found out that Konami owns it.
Yep.
So, you've got the arcade games, you had the NES games, umpteen Castlevania. I mean,
Yu-Gi-Oh!, Silent Hill, Metal Gear Solid. Metal Gear Solid's still doing pretty good right now, though. More or less. Alright, correction. Metal Gear Solid is pretty consistent.
Fair, except that Konami wasn't giving players what they wanted in the end, and then they got out of the gaming business altogether to get into microtransaction games and slot machines, things like that, and then they decided, from what I last heard, that they went back in.
And I really don't know how I feel about that, guys. Another one is Blizzard. Arguably, one of the better ones, in my opinion.
Probably one of the few big names out there that's still reputable. I mean, you think Blizzard old school, you think Warcraft, StarCraft.
Wow.
World of Warcraft. they were behind one of my favorite brawling games on the Super Nintendo, and I didn't even know it was them, and that was the Death and Return of Superman.
Which is really surprising because, like, it was a Super Nintendo game. You didn't think Blizzard would go anywhere near that.
No, and they've managed to keep a positive name for the Overwatch.
Overwatch is probably one of their biggest things right now, especially since they got into esports.
Yeah, so and they seem to listen to fans. They seem to do no wrong.
Jeff Kaplan is a great example. He's one of the lead, developers or whatever on the media aspect for Overwatch, and he'll be crystal clear with the fans. Okay, we hear your complaints about this. We felt this way X amount of time ago. We've been working on it since to make sure we get to a better spot. For example, the character Mercy. Anyone who is a Mercy player or has played Overwatch as of late knows that Mercy got a buff where she could res a character every 30 seconds. And that combined with her new ultimate, she could do 2 reses in terms of a fight. When she pops both of them in, back to back. Now, Blizzard saw that. He's like, we're working on a tweak. An update just went up today, fixing that, nerfing the character. That way she's not a must pick for a match. Like, they listen, they hear the fans, and they make adjustments necessary. And I like that.
It's true. When you see all the internet rants about companies today, I never see Blizzard.
No, you really don't. They listen to their fans, and they are crystal clear when it comes to what changes and what things they're doing with it. And you know what? That's a good policy to get into.
It really is. I applaud them, and I hope they're always around. And then you get into the flip side of that, and you've got the latest controversy with...
Let's hear it.
With who?
Let's hear it.
EA.
Yep.
And they just seem to be destroying deliberately everything they get their hands on because they feel, screw you, you're going to buy it, you're going to like it, and you're going to give us more. And all people do is whine, complain, and then they're going, you're right, EA, I'm sorry, why did we ever argue with you?
See, here's one thing I don't like about EA. And, you know what? A lot of their games I actually do enjoy. But you know what? As of the past couple of years, not so much.
No.
Because it's literally like this. They're pretty much holding you hostage in order to have a good time at this point. And I don't like that. Because, in my opinion, getting DLC, expansions, anything of that sort should enhance what is already a good time.
I completely agree. And I mean, they don't care. They keep buying up all the studios that are going under or haven't done much lately. They just bought Visceral, so pretty much it's been the end of Dead Space, as everyone's saying.
And I am so upset by that, because Dead Space is one of my favorite series.
It's phenomenal.
It is. The first game was a masterpiece. And you want to know why? Because the developers did their research into phobias. Like, every monster, every creature, everything that goes on in that game is connected to some kind of phobia a person may have. I kid you not. Look into it.
And I've actually heard that, but you know what? See, this shows how great Dead Space is, because it appeals to 2 complete drastic ends of the spectrum, whereas Ash is totally into that whole behind-the-scenes little details with the phobias.
Quack, quack!
Wow, nice.
Yep. And we're going to pretend Ash wasn't just quacked at right there. And I'm more into the fact that it was beautiful looking.
It was.
The atmosphere was great.
It scared
and
the
the
shit out of
gameplay
you.
the gameplay was fluid, and the fact that I could
Stomp everything!
Yes, stomp limbs into a bloody pulp or hack them off with buzz blades was just like, what more did you need? I don't need to be scared. Just give me 5 hours of this and I'm good.
Seriously. And can I get into the whole point in the game where, like, the music or the lack of enhances the game?
Oh, it really, especially when you went out to a vacuum.
I love that because, you couldn't hear a thing.
Yes.
And when a monster snuck up on you, whatever they call it, I forget what they called. But, like, whenever they snuck up on you at all, you jumped. I don't care who you are. Fight me. You jumped. Try to argue.
True.
And another cool fun fact for you guys who are music nerds, the entire All the music used in that game were only using 3 notes. D, E, A, and D. Dead. That's a fun fact for all you music nerds out there.
That is awesome.
Right?
So, but EA bought them because they don't. EA is not about the single player experience anymore.
Not anymore.
They want
Dead Space 3 was not a great game.
at least not in the linear single player game. They like the more. They want the more open world. They want the little less story driven. They, people complained about Battlefront, their first reboot Battlefront. So yes, now there's a campaign that's a few hours long in
I love the
Battlefront
campaign
2.
in the first Star Wars Battlefront games. I really did.
The original 2 were phenomenal games. And while I will give EA props that the second one looks a lot more on par with what we knew from the first 2, it's still so far away.
Plus, the trust is gone.
It is. Plus, with the whole controversy with the loot boxes was out of control. Then they claimed to have listened to players and changed that. Then they got into controversy because it still took forever to unlock Luke and Vader, who are core Star Wars characters.
Yep.
Then,
I mean, for God's sake, they should be some of the first characters you unlock.
Yeah.
If I'm being honest.
It was ridiculous. I saw the stats. It would have taken you, I think they said, $2,100 or over 3,000 hours or 4,000 to unlock naturally in game.
What the actual hell?
Yeah, they claim to have listened to players again, and they've reduced that by 75% now.
I don't believe it.
But
I really don't.
It's not that I don't believe it. Here's my thing. At this point, I wouldn't put it past them to know what they were doing, knew people were going to get up in arms, because it's still press for them.
It is.
And then they change it, or claim to have changed it to suit the people because we listen, when in fact they probably were going to do that all along.
What's the old saying? There's no such thing as bad press?
It's true.
And moving on from that, because honestly, if we were just talking about EA alone, this could take up the entire video.
Mm-hmm.
It really could. Next, I want to bring up one of my favorite companies, Namco Bandai. And when you think of them, you think RPGs, JRPGs. You think of the Tales series. And as of late, Dot Hack. I love those games. Like, I kid you not, guys. And for those of you who do not know, because I haven't said a word about it yet, I just started a Twitch stream called the D-Class Hero. I am currently streaming Dot Hack Last Recode. And you want to know why? I love that game. I played the first 4 Dot Hack games: Infection, Mutation, Outbreak, and Quarantine. Loved them to death. The story was phenomenal. GU, step up from there. Now, the reason I bring up Namco Bandai is because I've never had a bad game from them. They've always put out such a wonderful story. They've always put out such great gameplay. Yeah, they change up certain mechanics here and there. Unlike me, Card Dreamer has not really played too many of their games.
I played Tales of Vesperia.
And you will say you had a good time, right?
It was a great game.
Exactly. And it's... You know what to expect when you hear that name. I've never been disappointed in one of their games. Tales of Xillia, 1 and 2, both phenomenal games. I would argue the second one's better than the first, because they expand so much on the characters' stories. The first game, somewhat kind of spoilers here, guys. First game, you get to play as this team brought together in the course of war, essentially, because there's always a freaking war in one of their games. I'm not gonna lie, there always is. Over some kind of BS. But, you beat that game, you get the ending. You get to grow and know the characters, have a good time. You actually feel for them. You feel sad when they're sad, or if someone dies, someone dies. Second game, I spent more time doing their character side quests, trying to increase their friendship with the new character. Who's the main character? Luger? And the higher you get your friendship, once you have it maxed out, you can do all their character stories for that one character. You did do that for about 8 characters. And you know what? It made the game better.
See, and I'm the type of person who abuses that when they introduce the whole quote-unquote friendship aspect to, say, Dragon Age. I just wanted to open up all the sleeping with possibilities and then see who I could slut around with before I decided to settle on one, only because the game forced me to.
You know what? I really don't put it past him too.
If I can do that in Zillia, I'm playing it.
You can't in that aspect, but it really does enhance the story.
I'm all for that. I do like that.
Because like one of my favorite characters, Alvin.
Alvin!
Yep, same
I have
name.
to say it every time.
Honestly, just as troublesome too. I'm not gonna lie, he's kind of he's a roguish bastard, and we love him for it. He is kind of like a. He plays both sides in the first game. He plays both sides, you and the enemies. You don't know if he's on your side or if he's just playing games with you. You really don't know. In the second game, you find out his motives. And you know what? It made it better.
Okay.
You can see, and the whole second game deals with what if this happened. It was entirely dedicated to what if one thing changed, how would the world be? Because you went to all these parallel dimensions where a different choice was made.
I like that.
It was phenomenal. But like that's what I'm saying though. That's just one example from Namco Bandai. When I hear that name, I know I'm gonna have a great time.
And you know, another one I'll argue is Square. You know, they started off Squaresoft, and they became Square Enix. But say what you will about whether or not you liked a certain entry they did in, say, the Final Fantasy series.
There is one for everyone.
There is one for everyone. But you can't say it was bad done. It just wasn't for you.
Exactly.
Because the graphics are always good. The gameplay, sure, they try to change things up, keep it fresh, and maybe it's not always for you, and they prefer to go back. But guess what? Then they end up going back.
Yeah, they do. And you know what? They're bringing back Final Fantasy VII. I'm excited for it. I'm not sure how it's going to be like episodically. They might add some DLC in there. They'll probably add some DLC in there.
Well, they said it was episodic.
Yep.
There's going to be DLC, but it's so far off in the end that it's...
We don't even know.
It's another Kingdom Hearts 3.
Don't even get me started on that. Do not. Because I'll go on a rant right here now.
Well, this is the place because we're discussing the game. See now, but now do you trust them? Because the games they put out are good, but they have a hard time putting out the games they promise sometimes.
See, here's the thing though. Kingdom Hearts has been pushed back. Kingdom Hearts 3 specifically has been pushed back several times. It's still in development right now, as far as we know, and we've seen gameplay from E3 and such for the game. And you know what? I'm willing to wait. I love Kingdom Hearts that much. Kingdom Hearts is a spectacular game. Some people don't like it because it blends Final Fantasy and stuff of that nature with Disney. It's not for some people. But you know, for someone like me who loves JRPGs, stories, and interesting characters, this is a phenomenal game I'm willing to wait for.
You know what, though? I tend to agree, and not to get too much on a Kingdom Hearts gush, but if there's any other franchise Final Fantasy can get away with crossing over with, interesting enough, I would say Disney, and Ash can tell you, I am not a Disney fan.
No.
I like some of their older stuff, don't get me wrong, as far as their take on classic tales. I respect them for it.
Epic Mickey was good, though.
I'm not talking about games. I'm talking about the movies and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
I'm talking, in general, I can respect their stuff, but Mickey, Goofy, Pluto in general were never for me, but I never had a problem with them.
That's if Donald's ever freaking healing you.
Yeah, but
I'm still salty about that.
I get in that, but that's one of the things Disney seems to have done right is they have this weird multiverse for their characters, for lack of a better term. You have Wizard Mickey, regular Mickey, Mickey who somehow knows Bugs Bunny from Roger Rabbit. I'm just saying, like, Disney's a perfect complement for that. So Square knows how to pick up their pick their team ups. The only other one that worked just as well is Mario.
Yeah, I would say Mario too. I mean, look, recent game that came out, Mario Rabbids Kingdom Battle. Like, of all things, I would not expect this to work, but you know what? It looks like a really fun game from all the gameplay I've seen of it.
Moving on to Nintendo.
Moving on to Nintendo. When you think Nintendo, you don't think all their games are great, but you know what? Name one Mario game that was bad. Not one that it wasn't for you, but was bad. Go on, I'll wait. Comment below.
Could you kill that cricket over there?
I mean, I could.
Yeah, I mean...
But, you know, that's Ted. He's chilling there.
Yeah, but... You don't want to see Ted when he gets drunk. But anyway, yeah. But the point being is there is no bad Mario game. You may be sick of a franchise. Like personally, I got tired of the Mario parties.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean they were bad. I got a wear out on it. But for all the party games they have, every Mario Party, if you're into Mario Party, it was good.
I mean, good example of Mario Kart. That's been around for so long, and I can still pick up any Mario Kart game and have a good time.
Until you play with Kiyothani. Totally different story. Totally off topic. But
that still makes me angry. You guys will find out later when another rant. But point is, there's really no bad game in Nintendo's roster of themselves.
No, but it's when they turned it over. Yes. Now, before everyone says Metroid Other M, Nintendo didn't do it.
Yeah, they did.
So
that was another party. That wasn't a good Mario Party. Because if it was a Mario Party, then it would have been a good game.
Yeah.
I really have no qualms with Nintendo. Their consoles are a whole different thing. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about the name and the quality of game they bring in. A lot of the games for Nintendo are pretty solid. Paper Mario, fantastic example.
Sadly, I started the one on the 64, never really got far into it, only because I got distracted with other games. I did finish the GameCube one, loved it.
The 1,000-Year Door?
Yes.
That was great.
And I have
you got a baby Yoshi on your team. It was awesome.
And I have the one on the Wii, but never touched it.
The Super Paper Mario thing?
Yeah.
I haven't played that one. I haven't played Sticker Star. I haven't played Splash. I heard Splash was weird. But I heard it wasn't bad, though. Thing is, there really is no such thing as a bad Nintendo game. In my opinion, you can argue with me one, because you're entitled to whatever you think. But, in my opinion, there really is no such thing as a bad Nintendo game. There may not be a Nintendo game for you, so to say, but can you really say they're bad?
No, but bringing this to a more broader genre, the original topic is, does a game developer or a game company's name hold the same weight as it used to growing up?
Yeah.
And in this case, does Nintendo? Because, yes, they're still good with their games, but they have all these controversies with their consoles, and not to get into a console fight, but the point is, you didn't have that issue back in the day. Sure, the original Nintendo had no competition, so who were you to complain?
Yeah, it's pretty much you either had Nintendo or you weren't playing video games.
Yeah, Super Nintendo...
Mario did save the gaming industry, if we're being honest.
Well, it did. And, you had Super Nintendo, and that rocked it. That even with the Genesis, it rocked it.
Apparently Sega's getting back into the running for console. Have you heard about that? Yeah.
Sega is a great example of a game company done wrong. Genesis had potential, don't get me wrong. It was a good start, good foot in the ground. The Dreamcast had so much potential, but they're idiots for when they came out.
They came out at the wrong time.
They did. It was just so stupid of them.
Now think about, back to Sega, just the name. When you think Sega, what is the first game you think?
The original Sonic the Hedgehog.
Exactly. Now, a lot of people will say this. Every game up to Sonic Adventure Battle 2 was great. Everything afterwards is bad. And this is a very popular opinion amongst gamers. Now, Sonic Generations is a phenomenal game.
And even that got mixed reviews. Like, higher-end mixed reviews, but mixed reviews not... There hasn't been a unanimous consensus
about
since
Sonic.
The original, like, the early days of Sonic, so to speak.
And that's the thing. This goes back to the name. When you think Sega, a lot of people have mixed feelings.
They
They
blew it with consoles. Their games, they just pumped out games. And think about the games they pump out. Most of them were Sonic games. Most of them were back because the only thing they had left to bank on was the name of Sonic.
It really was, and he pretty much became Sega's mascot, if we're being honest.
Yeah, well, he was, but the fact is they nearly killed and buried him just to stay afloat, just to get grab some money.
I mean, look, it's not the real Sonic. This is like his great nephew, Sonic.
Satan? What?
Sonic. Sonic the Hedgehog. But anyway, point is, go back to like the 80s, 90s, think of Sonic. You think great fun games. fast games, fast pace, adventure, Eggman. Now you think, okay, there's another one. Sonic Forces is a good example. That got pretty mixed reviews, if not most of them being bad. A lot of people seem to like the character creation aspect of it, but even that got mixed reviews.
And it's just so. The question we're putting out there is, what game company? Do game companies mean the same thing?
Does the name mean anything at all at this point?
Is there is anything safe now?
I'm bringing up one of my favorite companies, From Software, because when I think From Software, I think the Soul series.
Okay.
Because Dark Souls 1, 2, and 3 were all great games. So a lot of people complain about the second one being too long, but like, I've never had an issue with that. It just meant more for me to do.
Yeah,
Bloodborne, a phenomenal game, faster pace. It took the difficulty formula of Dark Souls, which was more of a patience, by your time, wait to strike, to either attack now or you're going down. And I liked that. There were no shields. You had to move around fast. It was exciting. When I think of From Software, I think those kind of games at this point. Now, you were saying something. I'm sorry for interrupting.
No, I was just saying, I don't remember now, but it was basically just to totally agree. Like, I never would complain about a game being too long when you're enjoying it, because you always want more.
Exactly.
I mean, you get annoyed that that games have DLC, but then you're complaining that a game's too long when all the content's there. Make up your mind.
You want a hard game? Play Demon's Soul. That game was hard. That game was hard.
So now here's another question. Maybe this will be another discussion.
Probably will be.
Has society as a whole today, though, play a part in the decline of publishers, or publishers just gotten so greedy they're taking advantage of society? Or is it a little bit of both?
We'll tell you our opinions in the next video. For now, I think we should rate the companies, their name's value, from the list we described today. Capcom, on a scale of 1 to 10. Compared to how they were in their golden days.
Golden days, there may be a 6.5.
Yeah, that sounds about right. From Software.
Unfortunately, I have no real experience with them, but I never hear complaints about their games. You bringing up the long is the first time I've heard anything, so I would probably have to say they're still up there with at least an 8 or 9.
Yep. And they're cryptic with intention. Like, Dark Souls, Demon Souls, that stuff is cryptic. And you know what? You want more because of it. Which I think is a good way to design a game. Nintendo.
If the question, we're basing this on the question of, do I trust them?
With games, not console.
With games, I'll always trust. Yeah, I still gotta give them an 8 and I'll always trust them with the games they put out.
Exactly, because mind you, the discussion is with games, not the console. If it's a console, it's a whole different discussion.
Yeah.
Blizzard, I would say solid 10. If it had to be less than that, it'd be a 9.5.
Yeah, Blizzard's a 9.5 to 10. They just don't do well.
They really can't.
Or if they do, they own up and move on.
Yeah, they will pretty much, like, guys, you call us out on a mistake, we acknowledge that, we're gonna fix it right now. That's why I love Blizzard right now. I really do.
Konami, 0.
They're flopping hard. I would say a solid 3 in my opinion, just because I still enjoy Metal Gear Solid.
Oh yeah, but they're not even supporting it anymore.
You're
and
not
they got
wrong.
rid of the guy who owned it and created it.
You're not wrong. That's why I said 3. I still enjoy the games though, but still.
Well, I can enjoy the original Konami games. It doesn't mean I have, or not the Konami. I can enjoy the original Mega Man game, but that doesn't mean I respect Capcom now.
Okay, we already said Capcom. We already gave them like a 6, 6.5. Sega.
Sega's probably like a 4 or 5.
Well, you actually rated higher than Konami. That's surprising.
Well, because they're still active.
Okay, fair. I'll give you that. Square.
Square, I'd say, is still a solid 8. I give them an 8 just because they're not reliable with getting out the big titles people want out.
Well, as of now, that's mainly Final Fantasy VII's episodic games and the Kingdom Hearts. Now, mind you, the fans will be patient. As much as they want the game done right.
Which is fine.
Which
but that's not use that. Don't use that as an excuse just not to work on the game. No, I mean them.
Okay. I'm not saying that's an excuse, but like, yeah, I see your point. What else did we mention? We said Nintendo, Capcom, Sega, Konami, Blizzard,
I think
Square, From Software,
Namco
Bandai. I would say a solid 8.5. No, solid 9. Just
I definitely.
Because I've never had to play one of their games where I didn't enjoy myself.
So yeah, I think that's pretty much we've
covered everything. Yeah.
But before we end, I want to lead this into the next discussion.
Oh, let's hear this.
Because I think this is a perfect ending point and a good jumping off point for the next one.
Shoot, I mean,
given the state of publishers and their lack of faith that customers have, or what little faith is left, is this the uprise? Especially what we've seen of lately. Has this really began to open doors and become usher in on the golden age of indie developers?
Ooh, I like this one.
Think about Cuphead, Ori and the Blind Forest. I mean, indie developers are really
Shovel Knight being the big one.
Shovel Knight, yeah.
Shantae. Oh man, that's gonna be a big discussion. That's gonna be a big one. Anyway, guys, that's gonna lead into our next discussion video. I'm Ash D-Class Hero.
I'm Card Dreamer, that other hero.
Please like, subscribe, tell us your opinions in the comments below. Also, check out my stream, the D-Class Hero on Twitch. I am trying to get a consistent schedule up where I do it every Monday. So far, I've been able to keep up with that. It all depends on work, but so far, so good. Anything else you want to add in before we sign off?
No, tell us your opinions down below. What companies do you still have faith in? What companies are you done with? I know there's a big company we kind of avoided.
EA. We didn't give them
No,
a
we
rating.
got into EA.
Did we rate them?
No, but there's one we avoided talking about altogether. Ubisoft.
Oh, that's true.
But we can't name them all. There's so many companies out there now.
And Ubisoft days will pump out Assassin's Creed game like every year.
They chilled for a little bit, but now the controversy is their, like what GameStop did with their paywall.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Crap.
The mission. So
we're just stopping right there because we can just go on.
Just give me your top 5 worst or best companies if you've have faith or lost faith in any of them. And like and subscribe. Yeah,
seriously, guys. I mean, let's get a discussion going. We always say this at the end of every discussion video because we really do want to hear your thoughts and opinions. Because, I mean, why would we just have a discussion amongst ourselves when we already know each other's opinions? We want to hear what you guys have to think.
Yeah, I can only tell him he's wrong so many times. Let me tell some of you.
I need better friends.
It's true.
Anyway, guys, we'll catch you in the next one.
See ya.